Well, hello there. How is everybody? I'm Rachel Tessman from StampYourArtOut.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Andover, Minnesota in the US, and I'm here to bring you a live paper crafting class here on my sister's birthday, February 18th. It is 2026 at 11 a.m. Central Time as I'm coming to you live. I hope that you are all having a wonderful day. It's fun to see how the weather is going and everybody's worlds. You're all commenting on that, and then some jealous little. It was fun. There was like bantering back and forth. It was so funny, and it's also good to see some of my YouTube paying members. Yay! Thank you for supporting my channel. You're chiming in. You have the rhinestones next to your name. Don't forget that we do have a live at the end of the month. Make sure that you scroll into the description of the video so that you can see the calendar. And see all the lives for everybody. You guys can all take a peek at that calendar, but you can see my schedule of upcoming lives. The ones that are for YouTube members only are indicated, and then we have some really fun special ones coming up in March. So you'll want to check out the calendar. A big welcome to Trisha Josephs, who is chiming in. She has the wrench symbol next to her name. She is my moderator. She's here to answer questions during the live so that I can focus on creating for you. I'm very bad at reading all the comments as we go, even on my team lives when there's fewer people. I get distracted. I don't know, there's just so much to share sometimes, right? But I love to see what you write, so please chime in. I read after the live is done. I go in there and I'll like be eating a meal and I'll be like, oh, that's funny. You know, like I love reading the comments. So continue to read to write comments, even if I'm not answering them during the live. I'm looking at them later on. Okay, what else do I want to tell you? What else? I don't know. Oh, what I'm going to share today. So we're going to share a kit. Now this kit has been on like back order, if you want to call it that. It's currently unavailable, but it's still showing in the online store, which means they are purchasing more product to come into the warehouse, but it hasn't arrived yet. Marcia told me, and I'm going to peek at the comments here to see if she responded. She found a date in May, which seems really far off for the US area here. So I'm hoping that it comes earlier than that, but she said that May 25th for this kit to arrive. In any case, I've created with it, and I want to share those ideas with you. Just bookmark or tag the video so that you can come back to it later on if you can't purchase the kit now and you don't have it in your hands. Sound good? If you are from another area of the world, I should say, you can, if you're in another market where Stampin' Up! Products are sold, your kit may be available. It's just not right now in the US. Okay, so we are going to talk about and share and expand on the Lots to Love kit in the Kids collection. It's a card kit that got released a couple months back, I want to say, or like a month and a half ago. I purchased this as a gift for my Silver Elite Retreat attendees. And so in late January, somewhere around there, when we had the retreat, I gifted this and we pulled it out and everyone just put the cards together as intended. It was beautiful. I love this kit. Like, the cards are stunning. But of course I like to make alternates. And I didn't have my alternates ready for that retreat, so they didn't have these ideas for them then. And it was our last project and they were just like relaxing and enjoying making the actual kits as instructed. I don't blame them. But I'm going to show you alternates today. She doesn't have a wrench symbol anymore. She has a badge shape. Oh, you do, Trisha. Look at that. I see. Thank you for pointing that out to me, Debbie. That actually looks like more official. So she's like the admin, a fellow admin of, instead of like the fixer-upper. So yay, Trisha. Ask her questions if you need to. Tag her. You can tag her by typing the @ sign. You can tag anybody. You can have conversations with each other. You type the A with a circle around it and then immediately start typing someone's YouTube name, and it'll come up and you click on it and then they'll see it. It's pretty cool. Okay, so let's go to the desktop, shall we? Let's take a peek at what we have. So this kit is similar to most of our kits where you can make 3 of 3 different kinds of cards, right? So here's one style, another style, and another style, and there's 3 of each. The little pamphlet-ish thing that you get with it is a full color step-by-step instructions with even a ruler. You have the inches, you have the centimeters here. It's pretty darn cool, okay? There's also a link to every kit with like a QR code that you can go to, and it will take you to creating that kit, okay? All right, oh, that's for the basics. This is for, oh, here, this is for the kit instructions for this kit, okay? I think we're ready to dive in. Shall we look at the PDF? You have access to this now. I worked on this post 2 days ago, finished it up, and then as my team members know, because I just did a team live before this, I had computer issues big time. Like I've been in a whole other world. So if you've been emailing me or messaging me and I haven't gotten back to you as quickly as I normally have, yeah, glitches started happening, I would say a week ago, but I finally noticed them a day and a half ago, called Apple. It got worse. Then I finally called somebody who lives local, and he drove 30 minutes to get here. I mean, local, we have 30-minute local people. Anyways, he drove 30 minutes to get here last night, and he fixed it. I mean, there's still some syncing going on, but anyways, I'm back. That's tough to have computer problems. Anyways, so I got my blog post done before all the intensity of that happened, which is great because the link is live. If you're looking at the description of the video, go to the link for the blog post and you can see everything already. The video's in there, the PDF that I haven't even shared it with you yet. Hang on. The PDF that you can download and print off. You can even follow along with me right now. It has the cutting instructions, measurements. It has a supply list. Did I say cutting instructions? I meant the measurements. It has the supply list, and they're all linked. All those products are linked. And then you have the photos of the finished cards. So, are we ready to begin? Yay. Let's get started. I have 1/3 of the kit pulled aside right now. So, 1/3 of the kit to make 3 of the different kinds, right? Remember? And if you make all 3 sets, you have your full 9 cards in this kit. So I have the supplies for this card, and this card, but just 1/3 of the kit, which means I can make 1 of this card, 1 of this card, 1 of this card if I follow the instructions. And that's what these supplies are. But I'm not going to. I'm going to take and cut pieces up and separate them out, which means if I'm cutting up card bases, I need more cardstock. So I'm going to bring in a different color than the base is right now, just to add a little bit more, I don't know, brightness. So we're going to bring in Pool Party. This is actually basic beige. So it's a dark, deep, dirtier kind of white, but then this is more of a white. It's like an off-white, kind of like a creamy white. And so together, it's just amazing because it's like white on white, only not, right? And when the cards are finished, they're just incredible. So we're going to be using Pool Party to brighten it up even more. We need lots of Pool Party. So if we're going to do the whole kit, you'd be doing what I'm doing here today times 3. So instead of just 9 cards like I'm going to show you today with the 3 kit cards, you could make 27. So if you have a pack of Pool Party cardstock, instead of 9 bases, you'd need 27 bases. I'm going to have for you 9 bases today because we're just walking through the 9 different cards, and then you can triple that. You also get a sheet for each 3 cards of some sentiments. Now, the sentiments come in different languages, so you pick out your 3 that go with your language. If you speak all 3 or all 4 languages, 3 languages. If you speak all 3, you can make all your cards with just using the sentiments. But because I do not, and my friends who receive the cards might not, I am bringing in banner sayings and some ink. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp some extra sentiments for my cards. You could use whatever stamp set works for you. You could use whatever ink color works for you. Don't worry, like you don't have to buy all this stuff, but use what you have on hand. But I thought that the Pretty Peacock was a really nice green, and Pretty Peacock and Pool Party are stunning together, which is why I chose Pool Party, even though it's not shown in the colors of the actual kit. Debbie wants us to tell us the colors. Sorry about that, just catching that. The colors of this kit are Basic Beige, Darling Duckling is the yellow, Fresh Freesia, Pretty Peacock, Strawberry Slush, and Timid Tiger. So they don't use Pool Party in here, but again, Pool Party is kind of like a light version of Pretty Peacock. So we're using this color for the sentiment ink. And then if I'm cutting up the envelopes, then I need more envelopes. This is our basic white medium envelopes, and they are perfect for the size cards that I'm making. If you want to add extra embellishments, because your kit does come with these little yellow dots that are kind of a pale Darling Duckling color, if you want to add extras and do what I'm doing, I recommend adding in the iridescent pearl basic jewels. These are, you get them in 2 different sizes, and so that's nice because you can make bigger ones and smaller ones, but you also can color them because they're white. So, and this is optional too, but I'm gonna add in Fresh Freesia, which is this purple color, for my blends markers, and color some of these pearls to embellish our cards. Again, optional. Because we're gonna be doing 9 cards instead of just 3, 27 cards instead of just 9, like depending on how you're looking at it, you do get plenty of adhesive in this kit, like all these little foam strips, and then a bunch of mini dimensionals, right? You also get these little glue dot type things so you can work with it. But I like to bring in extra adhesive because I'm making 3 times the number of cards. So I have some additional mini dimensionals, and I'm bringing in liquid glue because that is a really great affordable way to have adhesive on hand. It's a little messier, but if you work with it time and time and time, again, you're going to eventually get better and better at it. I like to use it in my precision tip bottle, which I should clean. Oh my gosh, it's getting dirty. But the precision tip bottle helps to get it into like a tinier line, a thinner line. Both of these little containers, by the way, are from the Country Hive. They have new peeps. You guys, new peeps. They're in 3 different colors. They're super stinking cute. Again, links to the products are in my description. Okay, and then along with the banner sayings stamp set, there is a punch that you can get. You can buy it in a bundle and save 10%. This isn't necessary. You could just cut out little rectangular strips, but it's nice to have because it's quick and easy. So I'll be using that. I'll also be using some tools, some basic tools like the Take Your Pick, my bone folder, which is really beat up. Oh my gosh. I have like 10 of them, and I keep using the same one over and over again. And then a trimmer, of course. We're gonna start by cutting. All right, let me zoom out just a little bit. I love it. Peep. It's funny, Debbie. Okay. All right, ready? You can't see off your deck? Oh my gosh, is there that much snow? Someone said, Diane said, I can't see off our deck. I don't know if what you're talking about, but I'm assuming it's weather related. Oh my gosh, when we have a bunch of snow here in Minnesota and it's coming down hard and heavy, it's like, it's a blizzard, so you can't see very far. So, wow. All right, I'm gonna take this cardstock, which is our 8.5 by 11 Pool Party cardstock, and I have 5 sheets of it, well, 4.5 to make 9 cards, okay? I've already done the other ones. But what I'm gonna do with this is I'm gonna bring this edge to the 4.25 inch mark, and I am going to score. So I can score 2 of them at the same time, turn it this way at the 5.5 inch mark now, which you can't see because my head's in the way, 5.5 inch, and then I'm gonna cut with the dark blade. And now I have 2 card bases ready to go. I'm gonna use my bone folder, crease those edges just to make them nice and sharp. Okay, next, let's cut up. Let me look here to see. Oh, and I do want to mention this because then I can put this away in my stash. But this is all that I had left from my first set of pieces. Just the flaps of the envelopes, and only that amount from the flaps, just so you know. I mean, there's a few little shreddy, tiny, like 1/8 inch or 16th inch pieces, but that's it. We're using it all, you guys. We're using it all. I'm going to set these over here because they're just punch out ones, but these we're going to be trimming. Okay, for the envelopes, and I probably could have done all of these ahead of time. Maybe what I'll do is I'll just do one, and then I won't finish off every single card, but I'll show you what's inside. So my favorite thing to do to open them up, and I used to peel them open, but boy, that takes a long time. I just take and slice off, so I cover up the dark little spot here on my trimmer, which is about 1/16 of an inch. So I'm cutting off about 1/16 of an inch from each of the sides. And that allows me to open up my envelope to create paper. Okay, so I love it. You guys are talking about peeps. I have a love-hate relationship with peeps. That's funny. All right, so I'm gonna cut through the score line area, and if you don't have a sharp blade, go a little beyond either side of that score line. Like here's my score line and I went to the right of it. I've turned it around yesterday, so it's a pretty sharp blade right now, but that gives you a nice clean cut. And then we're gonna cut this piece to, and I better look to make sure. Oh, we're not cutting that one very big, are we? Oh yeah, this is the one that we're cutting into two. Okay, so this is the bigger side of our envelope. This is the one that we're cutting a larger piece from, but we're gonna cut this into two pieces. And that one we're cutting into, oh, I can look at my measurements here. 4 inches here. Okay, so you're gonna bring this to the 4-inch mark. This gives you a flap to cut out sentiments from, so hang on to that. And then from this direction, you're going to cut 2 3/4. And just check and see 2 3/4, which is just a little bit more. So now we have layers for the inside of our cards. And then from this piece, you're gonna cut off, and I'm gonna check here, we're gonna go to 4.5. So we're gonna cut off about 1/2 of an inch from each side. So that removes these. And if you flip it around, we'll just, oh, you know what? I'm gonna trim this on this side of I'm just gonna cut 1/16 of an inch off because we had that score line going through there and I wanna get rid of that score line. Okay, so we trimmed off here. We're gonna flip it and we're gonna trim off another 1/2 of an inch and actually a little bit more because we wanna go to the 4.5-inch mark. And we're gonna trim. And then we're gonna make this rounded edge flat and we're gonna bring that to 3 1/4. So these layers right here are like the perfect size for giving a nice even border for the insides of our cards. If this was open, I mean, this is the way it's gonna look on the inside. And then if you look at this one, same thing, okay? So those measurements will give you a nice even border all the way around, and you can get 3 layers for the insides of your envelopes from each envelope, which if we're doing a set of 9, we could make 9 of these, right? I'm only gonna do 3 right now. Okay, now let's cut some card bases. For our first card base that we're gonna do, and these got out of order, oopsie oopsie. For our first card base that we're gonna do, we're going to cut up this piece. And this piece is gonna get cut into 4 different sections. Hi, Maria. We're gonna cut first, actually we're gonna cut in this direction first, and we're gonna cut right through the score line. Okay, so we're gonna cut it in half. That gives you 4 1/4 on this side if you're wondering. And now we have 2 pieces and we're gonna cut down the middle. So if you're printing, my printing was not off on the other cards that I did, but if the printing is slightly off, you wanna use the actual imagery to help center your cut. Okay, otherwise your cut might be heavier on one side than the other. We wanna use the actual imagery. So I'm not gonna give you measurements here. I just want you to line up and this will be hard for me to see with the lighting. You're gonna there we go. You're gonna line up your paper so that it's cutting right through the middle of those images. I hope we get it. Oh yeah, we did it. Yay, okay. So one might be heavier on one side than the other. You can see that this side's a little bit heavier on this side. Totally fine, it doesn't matter, right, Rachel? Yeah, it doesn't matter. Okay, and then what you're gonna do is you're going to cut this one in half. And this one you can measure. It's gonna go to the 5 1/8 inch mark. Okay, so we have all of those pieces and they're all cut about the same size. And then you're gonna trim. You're gonna trim off from the blank ones. You're gonna trim off 1/8 of an inch so you can stack them together. and then just trim them at the same time. 1/8 of an inch. And then from these, you kind of want to like guesstimate where it's going to cut best. I'm going to go ahead and cut off 1/16 of an inch from each because they look pretty darn even to me. So then we can do that. And we have that piece down to 5 1/4. And the same thing with this one because those edges look, actually this one looks heavier on this one. I don't know why. I'm going to go ahead and cut that just on that side. Okay, so now we have our 4 layers for our next 2 cards. Okay, so we're gonna set these aside and we're gonna bring in our bases and we're gonna start creating, okay? Why not just use basic white cardstock? I've been asked that before, Terry. You could totally do that. So if you want to, you could take your basic white cardstock or you could take other envelopes and cut them up as white bases so that you can use your kit. She's asking why would you do that and not use your kit envelopes? Oftentimes I find that the kit envelopes match the paper. Like for this, it's a textured white paper and it matches this layer. So if I were to substitute this envelope in, I mean, it's very similar in color, you can kind of see, but there is a hint of difference. And when you're opening your card, you're not going to really tell, right? So you could use either or, but I like the consistency that the envelope paper gives me for making my card layers. And then the envelope always gets thrown away. So instead of throwing away this envelope that you could mail it in, they're throwing away the basic white one. Plus you don't have, like, I only have 9 in my kit, so I still have to bring in some other envelopes to work with. If I were to use basic white cardstock, that's adding 1 more supply. So I try to share kit alternatives by just focusing on as few products as possible and showing what's optional so that people can make these with very little product. I hope that answers your question. Okay, ready? Let's go ahead and start assembling. So for the front, you're going to take your pieces and you can see how this one's heavy on this side. So this one is going to be put in that order and this one's going to be put in this order. Let's go ahead and assemble let's do this one. Okay, so I'm going to lay this piece down with my adhesive, and for this I can just use the regular, hopefully I won't ooze out too much. Let's see. Oh good, I got it working this time. I know the last couple videos I was doing with this glue, it was clogged on me. Okay, so then we put this here. And for the next layer, you're gonna raise it up onto dimensionals. You know what's nice about glue too, and I love this, once it sticks, it's pretty darn permanent. Plus you have some wiggle room. You can actually move it around a bit as you're working with it to get it in place, right? Then this piece, we're gonna flip that over and we're just gonna add dimensionals, whether it's dimensionals from the kit, whether it's your regular size dimensionals or your mini dimensionals that you have on hand, it's really up to you. All right, so I'm gonna peel those off. I'm gonna put 1 more on. We'll just do 1 more here. Okay, and then we flip this over and we stick it over here. It's looking pretty plain right now. See, I'm lining up all of those little edges. We have about 1/16 of an inch showing all the way around. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take an envelope flap. Where did my flap go? Did I already trash it? I hope not. Oh, here it is. Okay, and I'm going to cut just a thin little strip, maybe like 3/4 of an inch. And if you're using this and not the punch, you can cut it to whatever size you want. And I'm going to take my stamp set and my ink pad. So we're using Pretty Peacock. And the stamp that says, well, I think I already pulled, nope, I did not pull it up. Stamp that says, Happy Birthday. So let's grab that one, put it upside down on our table to let it relax, then pick it up, ink it, stamp it on our strip, give it plenty of room so that you can punch. Then we're going to take our punch, open up the lock on the back, slide it in, and then we can center, and we have a little sentiment piece. The sentiment piece, I'm going to flip over. I'm going to put a couple dimensionals on the back side. And then I'm going to take, and I'm just going to do this on this half, okay? So this half that says happy. And on this end, I'm going to put just a little, my glue is falling over, hang on. I'm just going to put a little drop of glue there. Peel off the backings. And then I'm going to set this here. It's almost done. Then, for the centers of the flowers, I'm going to take my little embellishments that come in the kit. And I figured that you could get, I think it was like 11 of the small and 2 of the big for each set of 3, but I had extra left over. So you're not going to use them all up if you follow the same directions that I give. For these flowers, because this is yellow already, I thought adding the yellow centers just worked really well. So we're going to go ahead and make those flowers look more like flowers instead of just blobs by putting in our yellow centers. Now on the purple and pink one, because there was no yellow in this layer, that's when I took and colored, where did my pearls go? Things disappear, you guys. How does that, oh, here they are. Nope, that's not it. Well, I'm gonna grab these. You guys are probably looking straight at them too. I have pearls somewhere on my desk. Oh, they're underneath the envelopes. Okay, so we're gonna grab these. And I like the darker ones because when you color with blends markers, you do have the tendency, I mean, it's not as dark as what you think it's gonna be. It colors a lot lighter. And you also wanna be really careful when you're doing this because you can kind of mess up the tips of your blends markers by doing too much of this coloring on stuff other than paper. When you pull off the caps, you want to use a direction that's going outward this way so that you don't mess up your tip, and then make sure that you're putting it on straight too. Listen for the click. They're alcohol-based markers, so you want them to dry, or you don't want them to dry. You want them to stay fresh, okay? So don't let them dry by leaving the cap off. After this has dried here, then you can take these guys and you can add them into the centers of your flowers on this layer. So I did purple ones on that one. And the inside of this card received the smaller of the 3 layers. So they have 2 small and 1 big. So that one had a small layer, and let me show you the finished cards. So here's one almost finished because the layer is not on the inside, but there's the inside. And then the outside looks like that for the other one. So that is 2 of the cards. Let's move on to the next ones. All right, for the next card, I'm gonna take this layer here. And I'm gonna take this card, where did it go? The one that creates this card, we're gonna use some of the pieces for that. So I need to grab that card base, here it is. And we're going to cut this piece in half on the score line. So right at that score line, which brings us to the 4 1/4 inch mark here. And then we're gonna cut off a portion of this card. The reason why I'm cutting it off is because when I looked at this, I said, oh, it's pretty heavy, and I would really, really, really like to use this sentiment down here, but that means that my flowers are gonna sit really low. And I thought, well, could I use them up here? Like, would the sentiment work up here? And it would, but then it looks like it's not completely centered. So you're gonna cut off, and I wanna tell you the right, yep, it's a 1/2 inch from the top. And then you're going to cut off, and I'm just gonna make sure I'm telling you this correctly too. Yep, we're gonna cut off 1/8 of an inch from the bottom. And then you're like, oh wait, now it's not the perfect size anymore, but we're creating an embellishment, almost like a faux ribbon, by having that space in there. So let's take this card and make it first. We're gonna grab our folded card base, and we're gonna add this with our adhesive to the front of our card. You want to be really careful with your heat. I mean, you can add more to the middle too, but be really careful so that it doesn't ooze out. So we're adding this up to the top so that it meets up with all those corners and edges. And you have that wiggle room because it's still drying on you. And then we're going to, and I'm just going to wipe off the excess that got on my hands, add a little line of glue here. And that one gets put on the bottom. And what we're creating now is a blue faux ribbon. It looks like there's a blue ribbon on the card. Our flowers are up higher, and it makes sense with placement now. So let's take and add these with dimensionals. I'm going to trim up, since we don't need to have it super small, I'm going to trim up some of these to make larger dimensionals. Make sure that you're using the edges. Don't throw them away. I remember when I used to teach classes in my home, you'd look in the trash can and so many dimensional edges were just tossed aside. And I'm like, oh, that's painful, so painful. I'd pull them out and I'd use them up. So there we have our more balanced looking card. We have our sentiment strip along the bottom here. And then if you add those fun little centers to your flowers, you have a card that looks more finished like this. This one also has the smaller of the envelope layers on the inside. Next card is using this piece. Now, if you recall with our directions, this card had extra little layers on it. So let's grab those extra little layers, the orange, the pink, the little leaves. There's actually 3 sets of leaves here. There's also this purple flower and then these green leaves. We're going to keep those aside for a minute. This piece we're going to add to our card base with dimensionals. And the beauty of this kit is it comes with these dimensionals that are like foam strips. So instead of putting a gazillion, thank you, Kelly. So instead of putting a gazillion little mini dimensionals all over the back side of your layers, you can take and use these strips. So I actually cut 1/3 of them out from my collection here and did my first set of cards with that many strips. So I made sure that if you're following my directions, you should be able to use up your strips wisely like I did. I'm just gonna cut here to make sure. Okay, and we're gonna take and separate these out. So divide your strips up and then you can use them to give your backside of your card some oomph. Now, another thing I want to point out is you've got this side and you've got, now watch the difference, this side. This has it's like a laser cut kind of design, and you can see the burn marks of the laser on one side more so than you can on the other. So you decide which one is more attractive for you, and that's what you can go for, okay? So I'll use a strip and I'll put it, and I'm gonna just peek to see what I did here. I did 2 on the sides and then I did through the middle. Okay, so I did some here, really close to the center area so this would stay popped up. And then I did one here, okay? And then for the sides, I did here and here. And how fast is that to get your dimensional pieces on? We do have foam strips that you can purchase from the online store. These I actually like a little bit better. I think they're thinner. I don't know. Anyways, foam strips are great. We'll peel off the backings. And we are going to add this before we stamp. We're actually going to stamp on our blue cardstock, but we're using photopolymer stamps, so it's going to make it easier for us. Now, if you have a stamp set that's not see-through, you might want to stamp your sentiment piece separately and then add it on as like a little layer, or you could maybe cut a little oval that would fit behind here or something and stamp it. I'm going to use the words that say "You're the sweetest." I really love this sentiment. It's a fun one. All right, got it mounted. Open up our ink pad. We always close in between, right? And we're gonna stamp this down there. Okay, so you have to have your layer on before you stamp. I mean, you could put it on by just, you know, not having the foam on there yet and just lay it on top and then stamp it. I suppose you could do that. I didn't. Okay, next, we're gonna grab these flowers and the little dimensionals, the mini dimensionals, and again, you get them in the kit. And we're gonna take and put a little one on the back side of this piece. And I didn't use my bone folder, but you could curl your petals if you wanted to. I found that when I put them where I wanted to have them here, that the lifted layer that's around it is kind of causing it to kind of sit where it needs to go anyways. From this one, we're gonna add some leaves. So for this, because I want this to be sitting down in the card, and I'm gonna use my precision tip on this because this is a tiny little area. We're gonna add a little bit of glue there. We're gonna tuck that and place it right here. Okay, my other one's different. Let's see if I can twist it before it dries. That's closer. I think my flower was tilted differently too. But I've got that in there, and then I'm gonna take my bigger leaf and I'm gonna add that with some glue. So I just glue the base, and then that way, if my leaf kind of hits the edge, it can stay lifted in that spot. Dust. Okay, can you see kind of the little lift on those leaves now? Hopefully. And then the last two pieces, same thing, where you stick this on with a dimensional, and that one I just kind of balanced out here. And then my flower, or my leaves, I put on with the glue. I feel like I kind of curled maybe a couple of these though, because this leaf has got a little bit of a lift to it. I stuck that one right there. And then I used just plain white pearls and added those in and around, and I came up with this design. So it has 5 pearls, uneven colors are very attractive to the eye. 2 here, 2 down here, and 1 up there just to kind of balance out the flow of the pattern. On the inside is a small layer. How are we doing? Are you loving them, Yvonne? Oh, thanks. They are. They're so fun for spring, and I love Denise. She put some emojis in there to show some floral little imagery. Okay, the next one is using this piece. And this one actually goes with, remember the card that we did here? Okay, so typically you'd use it with that. But now we're going to make this card. Grab a card base, use our bone folder, crease it. Let's do the same thing. And I like the lighter side showing, but again, it's your preference. And I'm just gonna take a peek here to see where I put my foam strips. Looks like I got them all around the 4 edges. And then do I have one in the middle? Yeah, oh yeah, I know what I did. Okay, so we're gonna take our foam strips. We're gonna take and use up 4 of these. So one is here and here. And then we have 2 more. Believe it or not, these don't show through those little cuts because the cuts aren't wide. They're just wide enough to show that, you know, you've got a design there. And then 1 here. So that we've got all the way around. But then this middle part, I didn't want that popping up. Oh, thanks, Terry. So instead, I took and cut just a couple from the edge because you want to use up your edges too. And I just set those side by side in the middle here like that. Oops, those are kind of overlapping. Okay, so let's take off the backings. If you are not somebody who likes to use your fingernail for cutting off backings, you can always use like a take your pick tool or the scissors. Here's the take your pick tool. It just kind of helps to, you know, especially if you have pretty painted fingernails or long fingernails or whatever. Then you'll want to look at this too, because on my other one, there was a slight imbalance. In fact, I'm going to show it to you. You can see that this is like smaller up here than it is down here. So one of my layers had much more space on one side than the other, and I thought it looked best if the space that was larger was towards the bottom. Okay, you've got your layer on. And then for the hello, we add that to here. And because we have a nice big space here, we can go ahead and use those edges again and make a nice big dimensional instead of grabbing a couple small ones from the kit. And we want to add a little bit of glue here so that it sits nicely and in place right here. So there's where that piece goes. Then we have these tiny little flowers. These are so fun. They are part of, oh, I know what they're for. Remember these cards here? They actually give you more detail. So if you put these on top and then add your little pearls, you can see there's a lot more detail, right? Right now, these kind of look like little eggs, fried eggs. If you want to, you can add those here and just eliminate this card. But this card, I knew I could triple the cards in the kit if I could use all the pieces, right? So we would lay them in like this and just glue them in, straight glue. And then I would add those pretty colored pearls, the purple ones, to the insides of all of them. On the inside of the card would be that small envelope layer, and your card would end up looking like this. So there's that one. I love the purple with it because it goes with the sentiments. So it just is a really, and it's a nice way to enhance the white flowers. I mean, you could put just straight white pearls on here, but I thought that the purple centers just gave it a little bit more, okay? Yeah, it's a very nice lavender color. And isn't this, okay, so those of you that are having bad weather, our weather is not that great today either. It's just kind of brightening our day, isn't it? And you want to send these cards so that you can brighten someone else's day. I mean, I oftentimes, oops, hair right in my face. I oftentimes talk about the gloriousness of making cards, and I forget to say, send them. Right? That's why we make these little gifts of creativity so that we can also brighten someone's day. Make sure that you're sending out your cards, donating them to places if you're like crazy like me and you make so many. There are lots of places that would take donations of cards, but we always love to get something in the mail. Mail some cards to people that you love, that you admire, that you are thinking about. All right, next card. Let's take this piece. And this is my darker side. So again, I preferred my darker side to be on the bottom. And we'll use up some more of our strips. Okay, let me check to see where I put them on this one. All 4 edges. Okay, so I have here and here. See, so much faster than doing dimensionals, right? Plus, if you use them sparingly and wisely, you might even have some extras to use on other projects. These are just so fun. I just love these foam strips. All right, we've got the backings off. We're going to add those to another card layer. If you're a beginning crafter, one tip that I forget to share sometimes is if you can see both layers from the back side or from one side, that becomes the back. Okay, the front side is the part where you can't see both layers. And if there's any unevenness here, you'll want to look at that and make sure that your shorter or your higher up is towards the top. I think it gives it more balance if the thicker areas are down at the bottom. All right, and this last one gets a sentiment strip going across like this because, I mean, so excited for you. This just looks like a sunshine, right? A blue sunshine. But I mean, you just need to have that sentiment going straight across that area. So you would put dimensionals through the middle and maybe a little touch of glue on either side so that this is lifted and nice and high. And then do you remember we had this piece here? Okay, we still have the leaves on there. I'm not forgetting about them. But this piece here, this is where I used my bone folder because I thought it needed a little bit of something. So I just came around and I curled these petals upward a bit to give them a little bit of a lift. Can you see a little curl there? There's a tiny curl. It's there. And then that gets set down right above as if they're kind of like almost butterflies, but they're not. And then you put white pearls in the middle because if you did the purple pearls, they would blend in. But you can put the white pearls here. The die cuts, there's no die cuts for these at all, Lori. This is a kit. The kit comes as is, ready to go. And so I'm just showing how you can make alternates with the kit. Okay? Yes, a day brightener for sure, Terry. Okay, so this card ended up looking like this. And again, small envelope for the center. That means we have 3 cards left. And the 3 cards left will be using the larger envelope layers because they're all similar. But you can, it doesn't matter. You can change it up. If you accidentally put your bigger one in here, totally fine. All right, so the next set of cards, I'm showing one more style, and those are done. And let's see what we have left here. We have this piece, which is the back side of our floral piece. We have these little leaves. We have this piece, which is the envelope layer. And we have, oh, here it is, our card base, okay? So we're gonna make 3 cards from all of this. What you'll do is you will cut, and we're just gonna go ahead and cut to the 4 1/8 inch mark for this. So I'm going to 4 1/8. And now we have 3 leaves that we're gonna cut into 3 pieces. For these layers, you want them to be 1 3/4 inches wide. So for this first one, I'm gonna go to the 1 3/4 inch mark and I'm gonna look. Does it look like it's gonna be a good area to cut? Yes, it is. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut that. I'm gonna flip it around. I'm gonna do the same thing to this side. Yep, that looks pretty good. I'll do 1 3/4, which means that this ends up being a little bit thicker. So what you wanna do for that, because it's 2 inches now, you just wanna cut off 1/8 of an inch from each side to make it the same width as the other 2. So now we have 1 and 3/4 inch layers. So these layers are gonna go on each of the 3 cards. And then we need to make similar pieces with this. So this was the back side of that last card, or actually that's the back side of this one we cut. And then we have another one. So we have 2 back sides. We're gonna cut each of those. I'll just stack them here. We're gonna cut each of those to 4 1/8. And then because they're the same all the way across, we're just gonna do 1 3/8. I think it's 1 3/8. 1 3/8, 1 3/8, yes. 1 3/8, 1 3/8, and this last one, 1 3/8. So there's our 6 pieces. We need 2 per card. So I'm gonna add those to each pile here, 2, 2, and 2. And then we need our leaves. And if you want to, you could take and mix it up. You could make your green leaves have a pink set of leaves with them. So if you wanted to, you could go like this, make it a slightly more colorful card. Or you could keep them paired up. So this one I paired up with the pink. This one I paired up with the orange. This is Timid Tiger, Strawberry Slush, and Pretty Peacock for the exact colors of the pieces. Okay, let's do one. And then they're all kind of put together the same way. Shaker cards, yes. I see that Vicki was suggesting that you could do shaker cards with this. Okay, bone folder, here it is. I'm looking for my bone folder as I'm also saying, I said you only needed 1 of these, but you're gonna have 3 of these left over, okay? So there's gonna be 3, 1 per card. And here you can see both layers, so this becomes the back. For the front side of the card, we're gonna grab our pieces, and I'm gonna start with the pink one, and I'm gonna add this to my card base using some glue. Do you guys realize that I have not used any seal? Oops, it's starting to get sticky here. I have not used any seal adhesive today. Are you proud of me? I'm really focusing in on trying to just share the glue today. I'm doing it too. I get messy with this stuff, but I know that it's a favorite for a lot of people because of the, you're able to shift it around and get it right in the right spot. Thank you, Trisha. Trisha's so good. She's just chiming in there with all the pieces you need. We need another one on this side. And I'm doing the 2 sides first because whatever we have left over in the middle for space is what we've got left over. And you'll see that there's a slight gap, which will help give it that fun border look all the way around. Now, another thought is if you want to, you can use the flip side and do 2 layers of white here, right? How it's brighter and whiter. Or you can do what I did on my finished samples. I showed, you know, the 2 colors on the outer sides, and then I put white through the middle. So now we're flipping it onto this side, and we're gonna do our glue here. There's free shipping going on today and tomorrow and the next day. You'll want to take advantage of that. In the US, it's a $75 minimum order. You place that order. Hey, and if you hit the $75 order, you can also add on the product of the month, which is the Painted Illusions paper. How fun is that? Okay, so after I've done that, then I add my little piece here, which you can do with the glue dot from the kit. You could do it with, I think I added it with a dimensional, and I'll show you what I did here. So I did a dimensional here, and it doesn't matter if it's sticking out because it's going to stick out a little bit on that small spot. And then I put dimensionals under these 2, 1 and 2. So not all of them are glued down, so it's slightly fragile, but that's what happens when we make beautiful handmade art to gift to people. So that's going to stick out like that. And then our sentiment piece, which we would punch out from our flaps of our envelopes like we did earlier, would go right here across where that base of the leaf is. So thanks a million. We've got the pearls on there. And can you see by cutting up the envelope, it has a little texture to that sentiment strip. Same thing on the inside. Gotta love that. So pearls, just white pearls on those. And I suppose I could have done purple pearls on one of them, but I stuck with white on all of these. So there's another one. And there is the third one. I have more to share, so don't leave yet. So yeah, the free shipping. Don't forget to take advantage of that. There's a link to shop in the description of my video, and you'll want to take advantage of it soon. It runs out in 3 days. And when things sell out, they sell out, just so you know. This is the Positioner. I'm going to show you something with this. This is a new tool that's not available for all yet. I already have a stamp mounted on here from the Encircled with Love stamp set. I've got my grid paper. It doesn't matter what side I have up. I have the metric side up right now because my other side is dirty. Got my magnets ready. We're not going to be using this piece because we're going to be doing multiple stamping in the same spot. And if you have multiple stamping in the same spot happening, you want to make sure that you don't have that slight shimmy that can happen with this piece, okay? So this is the one to use. You also maybe want to get some Herma Transfer adhesive. It's repositionable adhesive, sorry. They used to call it Hermafix Transfer. And I'm going to take my cardstock that I have. Oh, here's the stamp set, by the way, Encircled with Love. I'm going to take my cardstock, and I'm going to add that with a bit of Herma repositionable adhesive. And I think, where am I going with this? Between the 8 and the 13. Okay. So I'm going to stick it down here. Just to give it more reinforcement, I'm going to put my magnets there. Okay, let's see. Let's test it out. Got to move this magnet a little bit. Okay, hopefully when we ink this up and we stamp it down, the paper will stay in place because we've got the Hermafix and we've got the strong magnets right around it. I'm going to use an ink pad. I don't know why I said a ink pad. And we're using soft sea foam, a very, very, very light color of ink. We're going to stamp that in place, press it evenly. This technique is also great if you are somebody who possibly doesn't press your stamp down evenly and you make mistakes, right? So we press it in place. Let's see if there's any gappage. There isn't, but I do have some little flecks on here that I'm going to get rid of because it makes it darker in a couple spots. Okay, so I've got that. It's a light color. It's a light color. I don't want it that light. I really want it to show up. So I'm going to ink it up again. And I'm going to stamp it down and press it in place. And I'm going to ink it up again. It's getting darker and darker. Anybody know what color this now reminds you of? It's an older Stampin' Up! Color. What's it starting to look like? You could keep going. You could literally keep going with this. and it's just gonna darken and deepen it even more. So soft sea foam, so pretty. But it's starting to look more like pear pizzazz, don't you think? Look how deep and dark it got from this to this. So you can deepen your colors. Oh, I was supposed to use lemon lolly on this one. So you can deepen your colors by repetitive stamping like that, as long as this stays in the same spot. I do that often when I'm using black ink, because sometimes the black isn't quite deep enough, or if I'm using a really, really broad image with thick lines, I will do that. Yes, pear pizzazz, you guys are right. Thank you. Okay, so you can see I've got a couple samples here, before and after. That was 4 layers of each. This is the finished card. On this, I have the lovely and beautiful designer paper that you can purchase now. A strip of soft sea foam, which of course coordinates with this, but it's a lighter version on the cardstock now than the ink is showing. I've got these embellishments here. These are painted, no, sorry, let me take that back. These are called sparkle, low profile sparkle dots. They're on the last chance list. Grab them up. They are one of my favorites. You get this green color, which is garden green, but I think it goes well on here. You also get, I think this is Daffodil Delight, and you get Secret Sea, I want to say. I think those are the 3 colors. Oh, we've got sunshine shining in, so it's going to affect our lighting. Okay, so there you go. Oh, and the embossing folder back here you can't get yet. It's so cool, you guys. I love this embossing folder. It is coming up in March. It's called Paradise Garden, and it does say hybrid here because there's dies to coordinate with it. But I love using it by itself. It's just stunning. Leaves, hello, leaves. So there's that. Put that on your wish list. And then another card I did with that same technique is using the Lemon Lolly. And so this is the card that inspired it, by the way. This is another one of Joanne. Oh, no, this is from Jean Hartig. This is from Jean, and it's got little strips of paper that I don't know. I don't think we carry that one anymore, but really pretty card design. I loved it so much. Thank you, Jean. So I'm using the new embossing folder, Lazy Daisy, on the back side. Again, Encircled with Love, same stamp set. This one didn't make too much of a difference, but I did go to only 3 layers on this because it started to not be on track. I think I shifted my paper, but you can still see the deeper, darker coloring for Lemon Lolly. And that finished card ended up looking like this. So I have the Lemon Lolly stamped 3 times, a strip of Lemon Lolly, the Daffodil Delight dots, and then the Cute as a Bug paper back there. It's all from the same scene, just cut into strips, so it's not all different papers. It's the same scene, but kind of staggered. And there's that Lazy Daisy embossing folder that you can get, not March 6th, March 3rd. Did I say March 6th? Sorry about that, March 3rd. So I just wanted to introduce another technique, yet one more technique that you can do with the awesome Stampin' Positioner. I already shared these techniques in the last couple of videos, so you'll want to get a hold of it. How do you get a hold of it? Well, you either wait a very, very long time or you get the starter kit. You can get the starter kit right now through March 2nd, and you get this $49 valued Stampin' Positioner for free. It's a free bonus with the starter kit. There's a link in the description of my video if you're interested, okay? Those of us that are demonstrators already, chime in, say it's awesome, right? We love being on the demonstrator side of things. By the way, if you are a demonstrator and you want to get some of these products, purchase from yourself, keep yourself active. If you are not a demonstrator, but you have another demonstrator, please purchase from them, share the love. What else do I want to talk about? Bonus day redemptions. Make sure that you are using up those coupons that you might have earned last month. Product of the month, just one more peek at that. Here it is, product of the month, beautiful paper. Look at what you can make, you guys. Oops, upside down. Look what you can make with this. It's just gorgeous paper. So you'll want to get your hands on some of that. It's $5. With a $75 order, it's $5. I love it. YouTube membership, we'll be having a video on the 28th of February at 9 a.m. on Saturday, 9 a.m. Central Time. And I know it keeps jumping around from different times, but that way I can make sure that all of you guys have a chance to attend. And then next week on the 25th, so a few days before, on Wednesday, I'll be live again. I'm not doing a live this weekend because I'm going to be on a crafting retreat. I'm so excited. But on the 11th is probably when I will be sharing my paper pumpkin alternate projects with you. So my kit's going to show up while I'm gone at this retreat. It's making me so sad. I don't have it yet. I bet some of you have it. And what else do I want to say before I leave? I feel like I've covered it all. The calendar, YouTube, starter kit. I think I said it all. Did I say it all? There's so much to share. It's so fun. All right. Well, I hope that you got some creative inspiration from what I shared today. Thank you for joining me. Yes, please subscribe, like by giving the thumbs up, share. You can share the link for the video with your friends. And remember to always tune in to log in to your Google or YouTube account so you can comment away like everyone else is doing here in the live. It's fun to see the comments roll in. I love reading them. Thank you, Trisha. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Now I'd like you all to go and stamp your art out. Bye-bye.